All right, so I like doing a lot of typically masculine things, I would say, right? I like going to the gym. I like talking about sports. I like playing sports. I like a lot of these very masculine things, right? And it's always eluded me. The one thing I can never quite get my head around is car guys, right? Now here's the thing. I can understand the appeal of like a sports car. I can understand, or at least like not like a sports car, but like one of those higher end, right, like luxury vehicles, right? Like if you're buying a Lambo, I understand like the status appeal, right? Because it's like if you pull up with that, you're at least presenting that you make enough money to afford what is a like horrible financial investment as a car, right? Like that's the point. The point is it's a flex. The issue is when it's not like one of those kind of cars. It's a kind of car like a Mustang, like a Dodge Charger, right? Like these cars that very easily a teenager or college kid could get that prove absolutely nothing that like you're making a lot of money. It just proves that you're an obnoxious asshole, right? Because I have to live very close to college dorms, so I have to hear a lot of college kids revving their engines going across the street. And all I'm thinking is, who is this impressing, right? Who is this for? Because I think the only people you're going to impress are like high school boys, right? Like, is that because I don't understand who is like gonna look at that and be like, you're cool, right? Because have you ever seen somebody who's like 30 years old that drives a Mustang that like has their life together? They don't exist. It's not a thing. It's not a concept that has ever been congruent with reality, right? Because nobody's pulling up to their 9 to 5 in a Mustang because it's obnoxious, right? Because you grow out of it, right? And so that's why I just don't understand it, right? Like I don't know. I guess again I'm also not super into the market of cars. I guess is part of it. I've never really cared to have it do anything more than just getting me to point A to point B, right? Like I've always just kind of had the more of a like it's a piece of utility more than it is a piece like something to like have fun with. But even when like that doesn't mean like I don't understand why you'd want to drive fast or do something like that, right? Like, whenever it's later at night, there's not as many people there. I think everybody, like at some point in their lives, has enjoyed, pumping the gas a little bit more, right? But here's the thing. I have a a much older car, right? And it can still break that 100, like it can still break that 100 mile an hour, right? Like threshold, right? I can still go far faster than I like reasonably should be going, right? And so my question is like, why do you need a car that goes so incredibly fast if like every car can get to that speed? Because like if a car can get to 75, which it would have to like, be on the road, right? Like if you need that car to get to that speed, right? What's the point in getting there like a second faster if you're still doing it, like if you're ending up the exact same speed? Like that's what I don't understand. Plus, a lot of these cars are like almost intentionally loud, right? They're like intentionally obnoxious, right? Like they rev their engines, right? Like the speed limit next to my house is roughly 15 miles an hour, right? It's like 15 to 30, but because there's a light, like people are typically going from 15 to 30 miles an hour, right? And I like you can hear it from damn near a mile away because of how loud and obnoxious the cars sound, even going at this like super slow pace. And so it's like you want to go super fast on these cars, right? Because you think that that's like the cool thing to do, but then they're so loud that you're just gonna end up getting pulled over by cops anyways. So it's like it seems counterintuitive. Wouldn't you want a car that's like super quiet if you're gonna go loud or if you're gonna go fast, right? It seems so counterintuitive, right? I don't understand how like it's I don't like that's why just every single thing about these cars seems like it's contradictory with other parts of the vehicle, right? Because it's just like I don't know, there's just never been like a part of it where I'm like that's cool, right? Like that's fun. That's interesting, right? Because again, like I understand having like a fun vehicle, but like if you're gonna do that, wouldn't you want a car that has like a bit more, I guess, character to it, right? Something that says anything except for I'm a massive douchebag, right? Because that's all that sports cars tell me, right? Like if I see somebody revving their engine and doing that, I'm like, oh, you're an obnoxious asshole, right? I never think, wow, that guy's just so smart and intelligent, right? Nobody's ever thought that, right? Because I feel like that's why I just don't understand the appeal, right? The only people that would care about it are in okay. I mean this in the nicest way possible. It's kind of it's a bit of a loser mobile, right? Because again, it gives off the vibe of like somebody who is 10 years out of their prime that's buying alcohol for high school kids and talking to high school girls because they want to feel cool again, right? Like that's the feeling that you would get, right? Like that's just like when I see a Ford Mustang, that's what I'm seeing in the future, right? Or like there's gonna be some tragic story of your wife or girlfriend saying like you need to sell the car because it costs way too damn much. That's another thing. All right, these motherfuckers are the first ones to complain about gas prices when they drive things like this. Right, it'll be this or it'll be a lifted truck and they'll complain about gas prices and it's like this is the least fuel efficient thing on the fucking road. Right, if it really mattered that much to you, you wouldn't be spending fucking 100 like or $1,500 on a car note for one of these things if you really were caring about your fuel economy, right? Because it's like I don't get it. I just don't get it. It's like there's again, I guess I'm not the target audience, but like again, I have found a way to enjoy or at least empathize with like every other like hyper masculine thing, right? Again, everything else I can find a way to come around to, or I can find a way to enjoy. Sports cars have just never been one of them because it's like, what's the point? Who is this for? Right? I don't know, but that's my piece. That's my yap for the day. It does annoy me. Thank y'all for 200 subscribers. I'd like to thank y'all for that. It is always nice to see all of that growth. Just it's nice to see my efforts are going somewhere. So, thank you for that. I will see y'all in the next video.